Hello, hello. This is Yuridia, your host at Yuridia On Air. Thank you for being back over here in our shows. I want to remind all of you guys to make sure that you guys follow us on our social media and you follow us and register so that way when we go next time live, you get the notification. Today we have a special guest, our dear friend Erika, Karla. Yo te estoy cambiando el nombre. I'm changing your name, Karla. We're live. And then, so if you guys have any questions, make sure that you guys put your comments, and then we're here to answer any questions that you guys have. Karla Alvarez, that's how I know you. But you have a new last name, right?
Sí, I just got married in November, so now it's Maturano-Alvarez.
Maturano. So congratulations.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you are originally from Mexico, right? But you have lived in Omaha, and then you're a real estate agent. But tell us a little bit about yourself for people that don't know you.
Well, thank you for having me. And as you mentioned, yes, I've been here the majority of my life, but I was born in Mexico. I was brought over very young, but I was lucky enough to be able to go back every summer, stay the complete 3 months, immerse myself in the language, the culture. And then I had the best of both worlds because I grew up with my stepfather who was American, so I had both languages in the household, both cultures as well. I think it was him that kind of pushed me towards real estate from way back when, but I wasn't ready. So I dabbed into a lot of things. I did a lot of social work. I think everything's been connected to the community. That is where my heart lies, and everything I've done has been a reflection of that. I'm very proud of being bilingual, so I always try to look for opportunities that are going to be able to maximize everything that I'm able to share with the community. And language, the barrier, is the biggest. So I did a lot of social work, homeless prevention intervention. I did that. I did insurance. I've done taxes. I've done marketing, social media, and I think that everything in combination has kind of led up to real estate. Social work was one of the jobs that I enjoyed the most, but unfortunately we know that you can't strive in social work. So I looked for something in some way that I could still serve my community, and I thought real estate is the best because stability is probably the most important step once you come into, as you know, when you become a resident of this country, and stability and having something setting foot, land, property, that's the way to go. So
I think for many of us that are immigrants, that one of the owning a house, it's part of the American dream for us. So but like I was telling you off the cameras, many of us are new to the country, or we have never purchased a home, we have no idea. Or like in this case, I have a lot of friends that they're getting out of a divorce and they never purchased a house on their own. So it can be intimidating and sometimes discouraging to buy a house, especially with the current market. And I think it's very important to have someone with knowledge and experience, and you care about social work, you care about the community. So I think it's one of the reasons that's why I invited you, because you're an immigrant, you are bilingual, you're a woman, you understand the market, right? So for instance, a woman that is getting out of a divorce, she never purchased a home. What's the step for people like that? Like, can you explain to us the process?
Everyone is so different. I think that there's no 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's the steps. I think that reaching out to a professional, someone that you trust, a real estate agent, and that's hard to do because if you don't know anyone, and sometimes it's hard to talk about these things with even friends and family that we know. So it's very important to establish the trust, be able to go with someone that's knowledgeable because no situation's the same. So maybe you try a couple people, right? And you kind of ask the questions because depending on how you came into the country, depending on what your plans are, how long you're going to stay, I think that the first thing we look for is we want to plant our roots here, right? We want to be able, if we're in the process, if we're coming over with a work permit, if we're not coming over with a work permit, it just depends on what is your status when you get here. And so establishing that conversation, make sure you don't commit mistakes later that you can't back up from. So I think having that conversation with someone that's trusted in real estate, A lot of people ask me, where do I start? Do I start with the lender? Do I start with the real estate agent? And honestly, I personally think that a real estate agent is going to be able to guide you and decide what is it that you have to do, what is it that we're trying. If it's establishing home ownership for the first time, if it is, I'm getting a divorce, I want to make sure that with my citizenship status, I'm not going to lose or I'm going to be, out. And so I think that a realtor is going to be able to decide, okay, we need legal assistance, we need financial assistance, we need immigration assistance to be able to establish how to help you. Very different, very different.
Because it can affect, right? So you have to make sure that whatever you do, you get the proper advice before you make a decision.
Proper advice, and make sure that you don't hold back any information, because I think with your experience in immigration too, anything you don't know can absolutely hurt you, and it hurts us to be able to defend or be able to represent them the best.
So the first step, because that was a very good question. A lot of people say, okay, I want to buy a house. Where do I go first? And a lot of us, we will say, well, just go to the bank or figure it out, like, right? Take care of the financial. But you're saying it's also okay to go direct with the real estate agent?
It is.
Like, what do you mean?
Is. I mean, a real estate agent will probably take your situation, and they're not the expert, so they will refer you with a lender, but they'll know what type of lender you need.
Okay.
When you go to a bank, obviously their job is to sell, put you into, loan you money. And so they're going to look to see what products they have available that they can line you up with. And it may not be the right fit. So I've just, with working with lenders, obviously that's not my area, and that's why I would pass them on to, but I know enough to identify, okay, how long are you going to be in the country? Is it you're just coming here to study? Maybe you're a doctor, you're a teacher, you're coming here for professional trade, or you're coming here to stay and establish your roots. So the type of loan that you're going to get is going to determine based on what your long-term goal is. Maybe it's not a 30-year mortgage because you're only going to be here for 6 to 7 years, and you can get better rates or different financing options through other types of loans. So
finding out your goals, that's what it is.
Depending on what the goal is, why are we buying the house? I think that's the most important part. And I think that that's what a lot of, unfortunately, it just who you connect with, making sure they know the right questions to ask, have that conversation. I like to use more of a teacher approach, because that's how I learned the best. And so I think that explaining the process is going to help them ask the right questions as well. So very important to be very thorough in the
What would you advise be for someone who just wants to, is the first time they purchase a home? So is a good time to buy a house right now, or what do you think?
I always say the rule, how much are you paying in rent?
Okay.
And if that is like, where's my money going? And you're at the point where you're like, everything went up, taxes went up, rent went up. And a lot of the buyers that I'm starting to get now are, guess what? My rent just went up to $2,000. That's ridiculous. $300 increase in rent, but they had to, landlords had to raise the rent in order to keep up with the taxes. So now it's where buyers are like, okay, it just doesn't make sense to keep renting. Even if I do have to pay a higher monthly payment now, it just makes sense too. So it's always, the right time to buy was yesterday.
Okay.
So the best time's always going to be today. And it's just looking to see exactly what your goals are and to help you determine the best time of the year maybe to buy, or the right approach, depending. Is for first-time home buyers, you're definitely going to want to talk to somebody as soon as you even have the idea to buy. It's never too early, because they're going to help prepare you financially so that you can be more competitive when you're going out to finally make offers. If you, have to ask for closing costs, or you just don't have the money there, you're going to put yourself in a vulnerable situation with the banks to lend you whatever they want, or for the sellers to, to be able to kind of run the transaction.
And many people, like if you're a first-time, buyer, you don't know what's too much, or especially when houses are selling like pancakes and they're getting multiple offers. Is it difficult, or like what do you recommend for people?
I think that's where it comes into breaking it down with your realtor, and your realtor needs to figure out okay, how much are you monthly able to afford? I think it all comes
Okay.
down to your budget. That's something that you have to consider.
And it's so
even
hard to
before
stay.
talking to a lender, it is. Because you go in with that initial, I want this budget, and then you start to see what it is that you can buy. And you're like,
Yes.
no, maybe I need to go a little higher. Now I need to save a little more. I need to finance her a little more.
So you help them prepare like
I
an
help them
holistic.
prepare everything. I work to a budget so that anytime we're presenting an offer, you know exactly how high you can go for that particular home. If we win, if we lose, that's as good as we could have done.
And I'm sure for first-time buyers, sometimes you say, well, I want a house with the swimming pool, with this, and that, but this is my budget.
Yeah.
Like, how do you do with, you take
Well-
them to house to say, this is what a budget looks like, and this is what the house looks
and
like.
that's what it takes. Sometimes it's like, you have to let them truly see what it is. And I do. I give them the opportunity to kind of feel out location. I think location is probably the most important part when we're kind of narrowing it down. Because if you end up looking at like 50 homes, you end up more confused. So narrowing it down, what is it exactly that I'm looking for? Do I need to stay close to school? Do I need to stay close to work? That kind of helps us bring it in. But it all goes back to that buyer consultation and making sure that if something's not working out, you're letting your realtor know, because we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, but we want to do our best. And I think that as much trust as you have and you're able to tell them, guess what, I'm not liking what I'm seeing, then we switch it up and we figure it out.
That's the consultation, so that's very important. Now, for someone that doesn't have immigration status, that they're in the process, they don't have anything right now, can they buy a house? Oh, yeah, they can do that?
It's a little bit more complicated. Cash is king. So if you have cash, it doesn't matter. You can buy. The only thing they do ask for is obviously maybe a visa or some sort of documentation to be able to say, this is who you are. So I would make sure that if that is something that you're looking into, making sure you have that proper documentation, at least some sort of identification, a passport, a visa, to be able
Some
to
sort of identity,
to
proof,
identify
like
you.
valid identity, that makes sense. But if you're not a U.S. citizen or you don't have a work permit, can you still buy a house then?
There's different avenues. Some banks will work with work permits. Some will work with temporary statuses. And so that's why I'm saying let the realtor know so that they can find the
Tell
product.
everything to the realtor.
Exactly, so that they can set you up with the right person that's going to be able to help you with that situation. That's where I was talking about. We have some professionals that are sent over, doctors, teachers, and they're sent over with a particular type of visa. That visa will help them qualify for different types of loans. You're not going to be here for 30 years, and maybe you're only here for 5 years. They look at a product that offers them a lower interest rate because it's only, for a loan for a max amount of time, but they're going to sell it off way before then. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So that's one avenue. The other one is some people will go through make it their business, and they can establish an EIN number and be able to do business there. There your connection is, until I have my social or whatever documentation you have, maybe doing it as a business can be done as well.
So when they come to you, they can tell you this information and you will connect them with the right resources?
The right person, yeah. Right now, even for people, there's ITIN loans.
The light.
ITIN loans right now, they come and go because it depends on the lenders wanting to take the risk. The risk being that, there is no social security number attached to be able to that property, but with an ITIN number, that means you pay your taxes, so they start allowing you to still have the same rights to purchase property, but the terms are not as good.
Charming.
Yeah. You'll need at least 20% down for an ITIN loan, plus your closing costs. So there's another $20,000 sometimes, and that 20% is depending on the price of the home. So just for simple math, a $100,000 house, you're already looking at almost $45,000 that you need just to get into a $100,000 property. And so that's where people do get discouraged, but it is an avenue to do it.
At least there's a solution for that.
There is, and there's some personal financing out there too. I work with some people that do private financing. where they offer you the terms. The interest is a little higher. The down payment is still the 20%, but it's another avenue to be able to purchase.
To do that. That's very good. Now, the last question that we had from the audience was, what about if you want to become an investor? Like you want to, you know, some people, they want to flip a house or they want to buy and sell. How does that? Do they also go to a realtor for that? Or
I would go to a realtor because the realtors hopefully have experience in investing, and they have access to off-market properties, different avenues that you're wanting to look onto, not just the general MLS service. They're also going to make sure that you have everything in order, ready to be able to present that offer, because offers on investments run super quick. You're in and out in a day, they're deciding. So you need to have your funds available, you need to have everything prepared, you need to know how you're going to negotiate the property, what the intention is of the property, whether you're going to rent it, flip it, resell it. And so being able to have someone help you run numbers if you don't know how to run numbers, or just kind of look over everything that you have planned, make sure the property, the title is, you know, free and clear. Obviously that's not my job, but I connect you to everyone that kind of does their job. It's like the team.
so it's like a team.
Yes,
then.
it's like a superhero team. Your lender, your title company, inspectors, everything that kind of plays a part in the process. The realtor job is to kind of help guide you, direct you, and make sure that everyone involved in the process is doing their job for you.
Okay, so it is like a team.
It is.
So you don't just need one, you just need
It is.
multiple people.
No.
That
And a
means-
realtor usually becomes your realtor for life. I always tell my clients, our relationship doesn't end when I give you the keys. I want to make sure that if, hey, this didn't show up right on my taxes, this came up, you're able to give me a call and ask any real estate questions.
Let me see if we have anyone in the audience that is asking a question, but I don't see right now. But since we have time, is there anything that you would like to tell the audience? Don't do this or do this, because it's like a little advice for all of us.
My first thing is, I think I've stressed it enough, making sure that here's one.
Okay.
Don't listen to your uncle, your aunt, my friend, they bought, they told me, they said. That was another time, that was another transaction, and their circumstances were different. Don't let them discourage you from looking into home ownership as well, because usually there's always a way. I have people that I've been working with for 2 to 3 years, and we're finally getting approvals, and they're finally getting approved for what they want. So I would say that don't ever think that you're not ready. It's never too soon to start looking and to start asking the questions, for sure.
So even if you go now and they tell you you're not ready, don't discourage yourself. Help them make like a roadmap.
Yeah,
forward.
if your realtors put you in touch with the right lender, the lender's going to work with you, and they're actually going to tell you, okay, right now you don't qualify, but here's what's coming up on your credit report. Let's clean that up. Here's what needs to be done. And then in so many months, your score will increase and we'll be able to help you buy a house.
Okay.
So
That's one thing. So that's don't listen to people that are not professional.
yes, don't listen to negative people.
Can they have a consultation with you, or how does it work?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I right now am kind of rebranding. My office is on 49th and Underwood.
Okay.
I'm with Better Homes and Gardens.
Okay.
Very happy to be with them. I love the brand. I love the ethics. I love just the way that they work with clients. And so I'm off 4949 Underwood Avenue.
Okay.
You could also look me up on Facebook. Karla Maturano-Alvarez Realtor. I'm actually going to, my website is going to be coming out here in the next month.
Okay.
And everything you'll see will be Keys with Karla. I'm going to start,
Keys with
that's
Karla.
my new brand is Keys with Karla, or Casas con Carlita, or Casas con Karla. So I'll have a couple different links that I'll be sharing, and people will be able to go in there and kind of find out what questions they want, communicate with me directly if they're looking to find the value of their home as well.
If they want to sell, right?
Exactly,
We forgot
that's another
about
thing.
that.
Right now, if you are looking to sell, it is definitely the market to be selling your house. And I'm more than happy to come out, and even if it's just something you're considering, I'm happy to come out and give you some feedback. I help with the entire process. It's from the beginning, from financing to any repairs that we have to do in the home, to staging it, to helping you like put things in storage, everything, getting the house ready, all the photography, the videos. It's what's included in my service because it's very important. The way you present your home is very important.
Well, you get probably more money for it, right?
Yes, of
So you want
course.
to make sure you get the value.
So
they can reach you. What's the phone number that they can reach you?
Yep. 402-515-9611 is my phone number. And Facebook's probably going to be the best method.
Okay.
Messenger, I check that, either my Instagram or Facebook, and just text message as well.
Okay.
I'm available.
You have all the information, guys, so call Karla. And then also we're going to invite you for another show, the Entre Amigas, coming soon.
Sí.
Now that you will have the whole rebranding. So once, in any event that you have, just let us know, and we announce it to everybody.
Thank you. And I'll be at Cinco de Mayo this year. So if you want to stop by and say hello, I'll have some goodies to take away for you as well.
You're going to be in the Cinco de Mayo parade?
I'm going to be in the parade with Better Homes and Gardens. We're going to be there as a brokerage. And then I will have a booth individually just to kind of meet the community and kind of let them know that I'm here. There's a lot of options, but I would love the opportunity to sit down and meet and see if I can help.
Well, come for the Cinco de Mayo. Come and greet Karla. And I think it's good that you're doing this, Karla, because you care about the community.
I do.
And then, like you say, if you want to buy a house or if you want to sell a house or flip a house, they can call you.
Everything.
Right?
Any questions? Nobody knows it all, but at least I have a very good resources to be able to make sure that if I don't have that question, I'm going to get it answered correctly for you.
Correctly. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye.